Good morning, Mr. White.
Good morning, Mrs. Angel. How goes it today?
Fabulous, fabulous week 2 for me, but you are day 2 right
Day 2.
now. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. There's a fair bit going on.
Good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Saw the kids today, the students today. Yesterday was a staff day, so today students were back. It's always great to see them. And it just reminds you, yesterday we had a lot of meetings, first day back, staff day. And it was, it was okay. But today it's just really, you feel uplifted as soon as you see them. And it was good fun. It was good fun. Feeling good. How's week 2 going?
Before we get on to mine, I hear there was quite the event that happened yesterday.
Yes.
There was the band got back together.
The band got back together. So we have a new head of senior school, and she's a ripper, and her focus is on staff wellbeing. And she thought it'd be a good idea if the music staff played a little song at the start, and all the staff could get up and dance. And a couple of the music staff knew that I formerly was a relatively capable saxophonist. And so they gave me the call up, and I dusted off the old tenor and rocked along, and we played Shake It Off, the Taylor Swift classic, and everyone was up and dancing. It was great. I haven't played in a band or with other people for 20 years. I haven't played, just picked it up for a couple of years. The last time I picked it up, I think it was during COVID, and I played... I'm not going to remember the name of the tune, but something dressed as a gorilla in a gorilla suit. Because we were doing music mystery or something.
This is bananas. BANANAS. That would have made sense.
I don't know what it was. It was Klingon or something. Anyway. That was fun, but there's something different about playing in a band. It was great. It was really, really good fun, and I enjoyed it so much more than I knew I'd like it, but I really, really had a lot of fun, and it was great. It was good. Great way to start the day back. Great way to catch up with the staff, having not seen them for 3 weeks for holidays, and everyone was up and dancing to start the day. It was 8:30 in the morning. It was awesome. What a great way to start the day.
That is very energy lifting, that's for sure. We've in my suburb here, when we sometimes sit out on the back deck, one of my neighbours, and I don't know who it is, plays a saxophone every now and then, and it is amazing. It's lovely, just so lovely to listen out there. Comes out of the blue, and then but whatever he's playing, or he or she or he is playing, we're out there. We want to listen, and it's such a cool instrument. You got to play it a bit more.
It is a fun instrument. I should play it more. Yeah. Haven't really got much time these days, but I should. You're right. I'll endeavour to do that. And anyone out there who has the ability as well, or used to have the ability, dust it off. Do it. If you're a teacher, students would love that sort of stuff. So I'm going to endeavour to join the concert band or something when they have special events or something like that. I reckon students would dig that.
They would totally dig that.
Yeah, the head of music has been on to me to do that as well. So I will. It's fun. It's fun, and I encourage you to do it. It's good stuff.
And now that you've dusted it off, you can get amongst it.
Get amongst it.
It's been a good second week for me as well.
Good.
There's nothing really that much more to report, except it is a very, very cold and windy day in Brisbane. I spent a lot of time on the holidays complaining to you, Mr. White, about just how cold it had been, and then the weather turned. I did. But particularly about the weather. And then the weather had turned, and when we were at the beach, it was 25 degrees, glorious. But it was genuinely a cold, cold day in Brisbane today, and the wind brought the temperature down. We were kind of 3 degrees, and it was very windy. But the sun was shining, so it was a beautiful kind of day. It looked nice. So our kids were outside, and it's when it's windy, what happens to the kids?
Oh, they go nuts.
They go nuts.
What is it about that?
Oh, I don't know. I would need to do some research into it, because it is a true story. But
it is true. It is very true. They do. They go nuts.
They do, and dogs as well. But that's another story. So we had all the kids were out there at lunch. Lots of them didn't want to go out because it was too cold. But we G'd them up and we kicked them out and locked the doors behind them so they could. But then it was really windy, and then it was not good because lots of the kids said that they got dirt in their eyes. But then we have a nurse, full-time nurse at our school, and then he. Turns out there was a lineup for the nurse to because they had dirt in their eyes and they were all wanting him to do something about it. So what he did is he put a message up on our team chat on WhatsApp, and he said, "The solution to dust in eyes is lots of blinking. Please encourage this before sending to me."
Goodness me.
Yeah.
Kids these days, back in my days, you'd play cricket ball at lunchtime with no pads, or play cricket with no pads and no gloves, and you just smack it. And I remember getting angry at some wag who was fielding at square leg and he wouldn't concentrate, so I piffed the ball straight and hit him square in the eye. Okay. He had a cricket ball in his eye, and your kids are crying about a little bit of dust.
A little bit of dust in eyes, but good to know. Our nurse had the solution: blink a lot and go back to class. All right, thank you. Oh, another one: dust in the eyes, blink a lot, guys. Just teachers, keep them in your classroom, get them to blink a lot, and then sit them down and give them some work to do. I knew that he'd obviously had been inundated when I saw the message come up that says the solution to dust in eyes is lots of blinking. Excellent. There's no need for them to stand in front of the nurse and blink a lot. You can keep them in the classroom and get them to blink a lot. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. Yes.
And, okay, so have you got a break in the weather? Are you going to hit double digits tomorrow, or are you going to down?
No, it's continuing for another couple of days. So, yes, the Brisbaneites have got their genuine winter woolies, and it is genuinely colder right now in Brisbane than what it is in Melbourne. So, you guys complain constantly about the weather. So give us this moment for us to do our complaining.
I'll tell you, right now in Melbourne is 13 degrees.
Yep.
Let me see. What is it in Brisbane at the moment? Right now in Brisbane, it is 13 degrees. So we're on par.
Right. Well, 13 degrees. So it's 12.6, thank you. And it actually feels like 8.1.
Oh, no one looks at the feels like.
Well, that's the wind, isn't it? That's the winter wind.
Okay.
That's the thing that's making...
For me, it feels like 10. But to be honest, I'm sitting inside with the heater on, so it feels like 25.
We don't have heaters in Brisbane, so we wouldn't know what that feels like. So we're sitting inside and it feels like 8.1, all right? So anyway, we could complain about the weather all day and all night, and that's not what we're here to talk about.
Nope.
So what are we here to talk about? You've got a wisecrack. You're 1 day back in with the kids. You would have been wisecracking all over the place today. You've got them all stored up in your soul, and you had to get them out.
Yeah,
so I'm certain
not to. Yes, I do.
What is weekly wisecracks?
So let me ask you this: do you know where the rainbows go when they're naughty?
No, I don't know where rainbows go when they're naughty.
See, they go to prison. But it's okay. See, they usually get a light sentence.
Oh, jeez.
But it does give them time to reflect.
Naughty. Wow, a triple banger.
Triple header. There you
Honestly.
Go. That one just launches, doesn't it? It starts slow, but it gets quick.
Yep. You did have them stored up. The kids would have been going, oh, he is back. He is bad joking back. Actually, I found this.
No, not bad joking. Whitey wisecracking back.
I've heard of this lady on the Toctic whose name is Miss Dugan, and she tells very funny stories about her class. So I want to share some.
Awesome.
New classroom in honor of being in my new classroom today and working on it. This is things that my students have said, I think round 6. You got that Donald Trump tan going on, huh? Sorry, Miss Doogie, I just crop dusted you. That's okay. I had gone through, at the time, a pretty brutal breakup. was in my young 20s and on the verge of tears at any moment due to this breakup. Some of the responses when my students somehow found out. Did you cry? You seem like you would have cried. So what did you do to make him dump? One day I had laughed in class and a student responded with the iconic Justin Bieber clip when he's in an interview and says to the interviewer, "I like that laugh," and then mocks her laugh. The entire class started mocking my laugh. And then every time I laughed, somebody would play a clip of Goofy's laugh. Unfortunately, it was a very funny class and I laughed often. Finally, my first year of teaching, it was Dream Career Day for Spirit Week. A student came dressed as a pimp. As a young teacher, I did panic and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to do something about that. So I asked the student, "Where did you get this outfit?" He said, "My mom."
Nothing hits as hard and on point as a middle schooler.
Gonna have to take your word for that because I didn't.
Oh, you could.
I
Couldn't hear it.
Didn't hear. And those of you watching on YouTube would notice I was pointing at my cans. Cans, by the way, there's an industry term for the headphones. So
Wonderful.
it was funny? I take it was funny. You were chuckling all the way through it.
It was good. It was good. I promise you, it was really, really good.
Fantastic.
Okay. Totally unhelpful then, isn't it? All right. We're absolutely kicking goals here.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We wanted to talk about, to touch base again on time-saving tips.
Yes.
Maximizing daily productivity.
Yes.
And
So we started this last week, didn't we? And we had some strategies.
We talked about the night before and talking about those SMART goals, talking about the Eisenhower matrix where we put everything into the do or decide or delegate or delete category. So we know what we're doing in those 4 quadrants. And we're also having a think about when is our peak time of when we're most productive so that we want to do our hardest tasks the next day. But then we first come into work, the first thing that we should be doing is the 2-minute rule. So you should start your day by quickly clearing out small tasks that take you less than 2 minutes. So smash out. So like I always either have an actual checklist, or I've definitely got a checklist in my mind, and it's very satisfying to tick off a number of those items. And often a couple of them don't take all of that much time. So smash out a couple of those first up so you feel very productive. And interestingly, the typical employee is only productive for 60% of the day across all professions.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I would say in teaching it might be a little bit higher, but only because productivity in teaching involves giving feedback and being in the moment with the student. So I would suggest that maybe it's a bit more, but I can see how somebody who works in an industry where you've got a list of things to do, you might sort of wander away from that and come back. You can't really do that in class in teaching very easily. No. So I'd suggest maybe it's a bit higher in teaching, but that's true. Really good. I love the first thing I do is check emails, and a lot of those emails are, they involve me and I need to know them, but usually I'm across them already or they're reminders of something. So that, like you said, you can tick them off really quickly. I make lists, and the first thing I put on my list is make list. And the second thing I put on my list is finish list. And it sounds funny, but I'm not joking, because the first one is make list. The second one is finish list. And it takes, I can write that in my sleep now because I've written it a million times. But what that does is it gives you momentum into the list. Yeah, and straight away, like you said, you can tick off pretty quickly. You start going, well, I've made the list and I've finished the list because I'm now going through the list, tick, and you can move through that way. I find that really, really helpful because I have trouble zooming in and zooming out very quickly and changing mindsets quickly. I'm not very agile. It's an area of growth for me. But what I do find helps is having a list, because then I finish a task and I don't have to think, okay, what do I need to do next? It's right there, ready to go.
Love it.
Yeah, so that does help me boost my productivity with that.
That's a good point. And the thing is that taking time to plan your time takes a little bit of time. So making that list takes time. And you could choose to not make a list. And in all likelihood, you're probably not going to be as productive and achieve as many things because it's not going to be as clear for you.
It's true.
So that's a really, really good idea. The top of every one of my lists from now is going to be make list. That's genius.
Yep.
But really taking the time to pause and make that list is very, very a really good idea.
Yes.
I did a regift at my teacher staff meeting the other week. Everybody has a turn at regifting a skill that they have or a strategy that they have, and it was my turn. So I talked about time blocking, and so that is the other strategy in the morning of. So that is scheduling blocks of time for different tasks. So what time do I have today? So definitely as a teacher, you're going to have teaching time in there that you don't have time around that. So, but what is the time that you have around that, and how are you going to use that time really productively? So, and what do you need 15 minutes for? Once you've made your list, right, when am I going to get those things done this week or today? Right, I've got 15 minutes here. This job here only takes 15 minutes. So I'm going to pop that one in there and actually put it in there. And then then I've got half an hour. Actually, when's my most productive time that I have when I'm not teaching? And then what's the hardest task that I need to do? And give yourself the time for that as well. Yep. So time blocking was life-changing for me when I learnt that skill, and I found that I was doing a lot less work at home once I started time blocking, actively putting everything into my calendar and knowing where each of my minutes are going.
And that's the goal. I mean, you really want to get to a position in teaching to minimise how much work you bring home. I'm an English teacher, as you know, and what I found early in my career in particular was I would take so much marking home. And usually I would get to it, and it would take me hours at home. So when I'm even at home and to be resting and rejuvenating, I'm actually doing work and tiring myself even more. But what the bigger problem with that was, I found that if I didn't get to it, I would take all this marking home and I didn't get to it for some reason that night. I would feel so guilty packing that again next morning, knowing I had to take it back to school, having not addressed it. And that, look, it's just such a negative way to start the day, packing all this stuff that you know you didn't get to, and knowing that it's going to weigh on your mind. And look, I'm not for staying at work at school super late to finish off, but I do stay when I can to minimise the amount of work that I need to do at home. And I strongly suggest that teachers around the world find a way to do that for your own mental health, but also just for productivity.
Absolutely. You got to switch on to switch off. You got to switch off to switch on. You've got to actually plan for your rest time. You can't be switched on at all times. Nothing good happens when you are trying to switch on at all times and pretend that you've got unlimited minutes in this world. You don't. And so, get realistic.
That's as true at work as it is at home. Like, you think, I'll do that when I get home. I'll do that when I get home. No. You're not going to stay up till 4 a.m. marking or doing whatever you need to do. Don't treat home like an endless supply of time, because it just doesn't exist, and it shouldn't exist for that. Now, teachers, obviously, sometimes you're going to have to work from home or do a little bit of work at home. It's just par for the course, but you should try and minimise, or at least manage that as much as you can, so that you're not staying up stupid late, and you can come back to school the next day rejuvenated, focused, and ready to rock.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. There's definitely those peak times throughout a term when there's lots of your assessments come in, and then reporting is due 2 weeks later. So there's a couple of weekends that we do kind of need to block out a bit more time to be able to get that bulk of the marking done. But you're exactly right. The rest of the time we want to leave the laptop there. Probably not leave the laptop there nowadays, because COVID taught us things can change very, very quickly. You really do want to have your laptop at home. But but keep it in your bag unless you absolutely need to. I wanted to share with you a couple of magical moments, actually.
Very good.
Magical moment.
We are doing the Cinquine poems again at school.
Cinquine, yes.
Cinquine.
Cinquine,
my favorite thing that we do in English, because the students all, one of the first things that they get to write is the one about the principal. And I get sent some.
Can you refresh our memory as to what a cinquain is?
Right. So it comes, the first line is one noun. And then the next line is two adjectives. And then the next line is three verbs. And then the next line is four feeling words or a phrase with four words. And then the last line is another word for the noun in the first line.
Great. So cinquain, because there are 5 lines, a 5-lined poem. Yes.
There you go. Yes. So this one that I got sent by a teacher, I do get sent some funny ones as well. So, often it says angry, raging. But anyway, on this occasion, it was principal, genius, nice.
Ooh.
Working, guiding, leading, joyful every single day. Amazing.
Did they put in that at the end, or was that you? Was that a bonus?
That was a bonus line. That was a bonus feeling sound.
It fit perfectly. That's fantastic. That's a ripper.
Isn't it beautiful? Oh, thank you, Hudson. Shout out to the beautiful grade 6 boy Hudson who wrote that little poem.
And where does Hudson go to school? Who's his principal?
Oh,
Is it you?
Oh, it's me. What a little legend.
I want to hear that again. Can you do that again one more time, please?
I can. Principal.
Yes.
Genius. Nice. Working, guiding, leading.
I like
joyful
that.
Every single day. Amazing.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Oh, what a ripper.
Beautiful boy. Absolutely beautiful boy.
Well done.
That's fabulous. And the other thing I wanted to tell you about was one of my awesome teachers. I think I might have told you about him before. He's a gorgeous bald man. And you know that I'm married to a gorgeous bald man. And he really... He owns really owns it, which is wonderful. And the kids, he's got good kind of rapport with the kids. The kids kind of pick on him a little bit for it, and he makes jokes. And so he's got this really great relationship with the kids. And one of the rewards that the students asked once they had collected all of their tokens, they wanted him to wear a wig and a tutu to school. So he came in a lovely blonde wig, and then we got to see what hair looks like. Anyway, he's
tutu?
a great.
Did he do the tutu?
He went the tutu, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
Just anything for the kids. He's just a really, really great guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, possibly had a bit of self-doubt along the way. And so he very proudly brought me in this awesome picture that a couple of his kids had drawn, and then a letter to him that said, thank you, Mr. Sheriff, for being such a great teacher to our class. The reason Willow and I go mental in your classes is because we feel like we can be ourselves, and you give us a comfort no other teacher does, a comfort to be us, how we are outside of school together. You make class feel fun and enjoyable. Thank you. Which is, and then they've drawn a little bit of a portrait of him with his bald head. They've even got some shading in there to really make his eyebrows pop as well, which is just lovely. He unfortunately has his New South Wales jersey on in the picture that they've drawn of him, but them taking the time to write him a little note just to say how he makes them feel comfortable in class and have a voice and all of those things. Isn't that just beautiful?
That's great. That's lovely. That's fantastic.
First year teacher. Just.
Oh, wow.
No,
First year teacher. And he's that keen and open. And Oh, that's amazing. Oh, hats off to you. That's fantastic. Brilliant.
Absolute legend. Well done, Mr. Sheriff. All right. What's coming up for you next week?
What have we got next week? We've got parent-teacher interviews on the horizon. They come up pretty quickly, and they'll be fun. Always a moment of parent-teacher interviews. But I must admit, and I've spoken about this before on the podcast, I do get quite a buzz talking to the parents and just finding out that the apples never fall far and just getting some sense of what's going on. So that's good, but it does make you reflect on how lucky we are to be in this position to teach students, because we are a pivotal part of the development of this child and of the children. And talking to parents, they're always grateful. They always are grateful. And I know, and I want to shout out to the early career teachers who, and I was the same, was a bit fearful and worried, and oh geez, what are the parents going to say? Are they going to have a go at me? What am I not doing right? But the fact that you show up, the fact that you're there, is something that the parents really do respect and admire in all teachers. And I find that, well, you get some parents nitpicking about something, but on the more than on the whole, 99.999%.
Absolutely. They're the one
awesome.
percenters. Yeah.
They're the
Absolutely.
1%ers.
Less than one percenters.
And don't worry about them, because the buzz you get from the other 99%
Absolutely.
is awesome. And after you've finished, it is I find it to be such a rush. You're tired, you're exhausted, you've just been speaking for hours.
Yep.
And you're completely fried, but that first glass of wine when you get home tastes really good. And look, you are a more aware teacher, because you know more about the students, you've got more feedback from the parents, and look, it does give you a feeling of accomplishment, I think, for me. Yeah,
absolutely imperative.
That's what's coming up. What have you got coming up?
For us, we've got Athletics Carnival tomorrow, which will be good fun.
In the wind and rain. Fantastic.
In the wind.
Yeah.
And there's no rain. It's lovely sunny skies, just very windy. So hopefully everybody brings their sunglasses to keep that dust out of their eyes. We are taking Nurse Rob with us, though. It's okay, so he can remind everybody, just blink a lot, please.
Good.
Fun times in Queensland, no, in Australia right now, is it's kind of tax time. So
yes.
people are doing tax, and we came across this great little clip for teachers, just to remind you things that you can and can't claim at tax time.
Yeah, and seeing that you have written therapy.
Yes.
You can't claim therapy as a teacher.
I need that one because of the children and the trauma.
Box of curly whirlies. The chocolate isn't a tax write-off for teachers.
Oh.
Are these novels here that you're writing off for the children?
A Night with a Highlander.
It reads like maybe smut, like maybe you're trying to claim smut.
That comes under the bracket of mental health.
You can't really claim your gym membership though on tax.
Au contraire. The thing with that is because I work with little people, they're quite fast, quite short. So I have to do a lot of squatting, up, down, up, down. I've got to be limber. To run away when they cough on me, I've got to be quite fast. Cough, I'm out of there. And that's leg sprints.
$500 tax write-off for red wine from Dan Murphy's. Can you explain that one?
Just give me a minute. You see, we have something called a deputy principal. We also have these things called parent-teacher interviews. Did you want to write that down?
Have you considered finding a husband and just talking about your problems with them? That could save you money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and legally, it's actually more viable than trying to commit, tax fraud.
Are you single?
I am.
Really? And you're an accountant? Because, I would love to have a marriage.
I'm
gay. Married. I could be your beard.
Could you hear that one?
No. No, I could. Well, I've heard it before, and it's very funny and it's very true. I mean, we do. We spend money on curly whirlers and chocolates and stuff. We do. But in all seriousness, there are lots of things that teachers can claim that first year, second year, 10th year teachers might not have thought about. Things like sunglasses and runners and outdoor wear and stuff. If you've got duty and all that sort of stuff, you can claim any clothing that has
sunscreen. If you've got makeup with sunscreen in it, then obviously that is keeping you protected on playground duty.
That's a good
you also
one.
want to think about your leather shoes, because if there's for workplace health and safety reasons, if there's particularly, if you're out on playground duty, you don't want to pick your toe on something. Obviously, if you're a science teacher, you want to definitely have those leather shoes. Obviously, remember that we aren't accountants, so check everything that we're saying.
We are not tax advisors.
There
are lists, just a helpful hint, there are lists of things that you can claim that are industry specific. So if you jump onto the Google and look up claimable items in Australia for teachers, you'll find some stuff. I think the ATO even has a list of things that teachers can consider.
Yep.
I don't want to. No, I'm not going to say anymore. But have a look at that and think about all the things that you can claim, because, gee, we're teachers and you've got to make the most of everything that we can get.
Exactly. Any of those resources that you have been providing for your class yourself, they are
Sure.
definitely tax write-offs.
Sure.
Keep those receipts and put them in for sure. All right, Mr. White, I guess we're going to be talking about your parent-teacher interviews next week and
Week after, maybe. Yep.
Week after. Looking forward to it very much. Go Springfield in the MSA Cup. Obviously, we're against the Gold Coast schools. So
Very
it's
cool.
on. Game on, Moles.
Game on, Moles.
And we look forward to talking to everybody next week.
Fantastic.
Have a wonderful week, teachers. You're changing lives.
You are legends. Keep at it.